Why are preferences okay until I mention tattoos? As someone who has tattoos from neck to toe, I am confident in saying, you're totally not a prude, a dick or anything like that for not liking tattoos on people for aesthetic reasons. I respect your opinion and appreciate that you were polite about it. It doesn't make me feel anything, but happy that you know your attraction preferences and are able to vocalize them in a healthy way. Nearly a decade ago, I was a cashier for a hardware store. During a slow shift, I had an elderly man tell me all about how he believed tattoos to cause brain damage, showed low intelligence, threw in some racist comments, and a few other off-the-wall things. That there is being a dick about it. I just didn't say anything as I scanned his items since I was on the clock, had tattoos myself he couldn't see and didn't want to become confrontational. Was awkward. Feels like half the comments are stuck on the phrase generally hideous, as if he is directly saying that to them, and not just his internal thoughts on how he views tats, being spoken out loud in a Reddit post to get his point across. Lol. Everyone assuming you're out here calling people hideous to their face. I'm not a fan of tattoos, but if you go throwing the word hideous around, you're gonna be judged negatively. Well, hideous is pretty strong and antagonizing language. If you went with I don't really like them, that's a bit nicer. You can tell people with tattoos took extreme offense to this question and are purposefully trying to paint OP as someone hateful for using the word hideous as something they definitely tell other people to their faces, and not exaggerated language to express how they feel about it in a faceless internet post that isn't aimed at anyone specific, and it's just meant to demonstrate how much they personally don't like them. Redditors really only read and take away whatever the fuck they want. I have tattoos, but don't care what other people think about them. Regardless of that, people generally don't care if you don't like stuff they don't associate with, but they get extremely defensive when it's something related to them. Ergo, how many people got offended by this post? Just don't tell people with tattoos that you think tattoos are hideous? Why do you feel the need to share this with them? It really isn't difficult not to be rude. You're allowed to have your presences and people are allowed to judge them. Calling them hideous isn't a good look, though. Aside from the generally hideous that other people have called out, imagine that you have something that's deeply personal to you. Something that you cherish because it holds a connection to something you love with all your heart. Now imagine that someone called it hideous. That's why it elicits such a strong reaction. If you told me the tattoos I have for my children or my best friend that passed away, or that is a reminder of how far I've come from my disadvantaged roots are hideous, I'd tell you in no uncertain terms go fuck yourself, because they represent something that's very close to my heart. The tattoos, at least to most people that I know, hold deep personal significance. An affront to them is an affront to their feelings toward what the tattoo represents. Dude, look at how you worded this post. That is why people take issue with your preference. I only have them to cover up scar tissue. Trust me, be glad I spent thousands of dollars. They serve their purpose. You are entitled to your opinions about things, like tattoos. Other people are entitled to their opinions about things, like you. Some people take others' personal preferences personally. Rejection is never fun, so it's easier to make the source of rejection unappealing. As a tattoo haver, I don't have any issues with how you feel. I have feelings about stuff as well. Also, it's much better to avoid a situation like that when you know that you don't like it. It would be disingenuous to them and yourself otherwise. I'd be pissed if I was dating someone and they later told me that they don't like a part of who I am. Like, WTF. You like what you like. That is completely fine. Preferences become unacceptable if you are part of a certain demographic, or they concern other certain demographics. This is slowly changing nowadays, but for the past 5 or so years it's been an unspoken rule. There should be no issue about preferences concerning tattoos. Please clarify if you tell people to their face you think tattoos are hideous, or if you are more tactful. No one knows that I don't like curly hair. No one needs to know. Everyone is different. This is your preference. There's nothing wrong with that. Each of us dances to a different melody, but we are all dancing. I'm pretty sure that there's lots of preferences that Reddit gets way more upset about than tattoos. Transgenders and fat people, to name a couple.